Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and today we're doing my December TBR. So in December there are two readathons that I am going to participate in, and so I'm building my TBR off these two readathons. The first readathon is the Queer Lit Readathon. It is a week-long readathon that is taking place from December 3rd to the 9th. So it will only last for 1 week. There is a bingo board of, I believe, 14 prompts that I'll put up here. And ultimately the idea is to read queer books and to try to use the prompts to guide your reading. Since I am trying to stay within books that I already own, I have found a hard time fulfilling a lot of these prompts, to be honest. I'm hoping as the month gets closer and I start, I'll find some books that I own that will fulfill more of these prompts, but for right now I really only have one book on my Queer Lit Readathon TBR, and that is The Basics of Spellcraft. This is a book that will work for the indie small press prompt, since it is a Rainbow Crate indie release, and it will also work for they also work for the most recently acquired, as this is one of my newest books that I haven't already read. And it's actually, I'm going to use it for the choose your own prompt, which I'm going to make neurodiverse. So this has ADHD rep and then also some autism rep as well. So I really want to read this book and really excited to do it. So this book is, I should have known something was wrong when my weird aunt arrived in town just as I started getting killer headaches. How was I supposed to know that it is a sign of repressed magic? Or that an ancient witch had escaped her tomb and sent demons after me? Demons who cursed my mother. I wanted to stay with her even if she wouldn't wake, but I was sent to Ember Academy for young witches instead, somewhere the demons hopefully can't get me. I need to find a way to lift the curse, but there's a block on both my magic and memories that everyone is refusing to lift. A block that might hold the answers as to why an ancient witch is after me in the first place. If I can't figure her out, maybe I can figure out this curse. My teachers don't want me digging into it, worried about the danger, but I don't care. My mother was cursed because of me, and I'm not going to rest again until she's safe. So, yeah, definitely really want to pick it up. Obviously the neurodiversity rep is the main draw to me. It is YA, so I'm hoping that I enjoy it. It's not always the case with YA, but the cover and the design is, once again, fantastic. Rainbow's Crate indie books are always fantastically designed. I love them so much. I do hope to find some additional prompts, and if I can't find books, queer books that relate to the actual prompts, I will just try and focus on queer books. It's not something that ultimately is very difficult for me. I have a lot of queer books on my shelves, although I do tend to read them faster than other books I have acquired, but I definitely still have a few that I can focus on during that week that may just not specifically hit the prompts. I love the Queer Lit Readathon, but the prompts tend to be pretty specific, and while I'm focusing on books I already own, I just don't necessarily have books on hand to fulfill them. Which brings me in to the other readathon that I will be doing in December. You can't tell, but I'm wearing my Grinch shirt. I realize it doesn't actually go onto camera, but it's there. I'm in the festive spirit in my queer hat, so I dressed for the part. But I will be participating in the Reindeer Readathon that is hosted by Break Even Books. This is the 5th year that this readathon has existed. I have participated in it before, but not while I had a YouTube account. So this will be the first time that I am making a video for this readathon. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. I do not have my team yet, but when I have that, I'll post it into the social media, my social media accounts, so you'll have that information. But this is a readathon that has prompts that you can read that make points for your team. The team with the most points at the end win. But it's also just fun, really, which is what it's really all about. You can read as little as much as you want. You can read as little as you want. You just have to fulfill like one book to put in points. There is actually a cap on the number of books that you can read for the readathon. Yeah, so the max for the readathon you can read is 7 books, and it does last throughout the all of December. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. There are prompts and then there are bonus prompts, so I did try and line up books with the bonus prompts as much as possible. So the first prompt is Dasher, and this is read a book that title contains one of the 5 words you see in the word grid. So there's a word search that you can go and do, and the first 5 words that you find are one of those words have to be found in a title. So I actually ended up using a random word generator instead of doing the word search. I'll probably do the word search at some point. I love word search. But the 5 words that I had to choose from were soul, curse, game, world, and wind. And you would think I would have a lot of books on my shelf with those words on them, and I do not. The only book that I could find was World War Z with the word world on it. Definitely a festive holiday read for sure. I have been putting off this book for quite a while because it is zombies. And I'm not sure how I'm going to respond to that. I am going to also use this for a bonus prompt of Christmas Elf, which means it has been on my TBR for a very long time, which is, it's at this point probably one of my longest TBR books, or close to it. I don't know. I'm hopeful that this book does not creep me out, honestly. I've heard really good things about it, but we'll see how it goes. The next prompt is Dancer, which is to read a book with a title that has at least 5 words in it. And for this, I went for The Mountain in the Sea, which has exactly 5 words in it. There's a lot of 5 in the prompts because I don't think I mentioned this is the 5th year of the Reindeer Readathon, which is phenomenal. Congrats to Break Even Books for that, because that's excellent. So this is a book I picked up on Barnes & Noble mostly because it had paperback with like designed edges. It's about a sea monster, so we'll see how that goes. It's a pretty chunky book, but just short of 500 pages, so I can't use it for that bonus prompt. It's one of the few, actually it's the only book I could find that had a longer title. So the next prompt is Prancer, which is a book set in a place that you have never been. And so for this one, I am picking A Justice of Kings, and this is a book I own via ebook. I want to pick this up because I've heard the 3rd book is out, and I've heard amazing things about the series, and I haven't even started it yet, so I definitely want to read the first part, or the first book in the series, so that I can then continue on with the series after I have finished my Read What I Own challenge. And then the next prompt is Vixen, which is read a book that you've been putting off. And for this, I am going to be reading an audiobook that I own called The Collected Schizophrenias, and it's going to also be a bonus prompt of Christmas Carols and audiobook. So I really want to read The Collected Schizophrenias, but I picked it up right away, and I have been putting it off for very specific reasons. When I picked it up, I wasn't in the place where I could read it. I am a parent of a child that was diagnosed and raised her, obviously, and I didn't think I was in a position to then read other stories about it, but now my kid's an adult, and I am in a position where I can, and I want to read the stories, but and the perspectives, the own voice perspective, and so I am ready to finally pick this audiobook up, and I'm very, I don't know if excited is the right word, but yeah, I'm excited to read it. So the next prompt is Comet, which starts with the same letter as your star sign. So I am a Gemini, so that means I need to read a book that starts with a G. And honestly, I thought that was going to be very easy, and it was not. I found all of 2 books on my shelf that started with a G. And I'm going to read A Goddess in the Machine. This is also going to count as a bonus prompt of Christmas Tree, a book you wouldn't normally go for because it is YA. I am really hoping I don't DNF it, because if you DNF a book with the Reindeer Readathon, it doesn't count. You have to restart over a new book, and this is one I put off because I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy it or not. So we will find out. Now, just because that is a rule does not mean I'm going to sit and read a book. If I feel like I do need to DNF it, I will, and then I will try and find another book to recreate the prompt. So we will see how it goes, especially since I am trying to read through what I own. I do think DNFing, because my reading tastes have evolved as well as matured, as well as I just have leftover popular books that I acquired that I probably should have never picked up, honestly. And the next book is to read a book with a multiple POV, which is actually really great because I've been meaning to finish up with this series. This is Death Ends. It should be the last one in the 3 bodies problem. And it is a chunker, so it also does count for the bonus prompt of a book over 500 pages, so that's great. I will end up reading this in audiobook. I bought them in paper, and found out that they're very hard science fiction, and I did not get into them, reading them in paper, and so I have been doing the entire series in audiobook. Although now that I'm more into the series, I may try and read it paper first before going to the audiobook. We will see. We will find out. But I am really excited to be finishing the series. I do have a companion novel that I need to read also, but this is like the end of the actual trilogy, so that's great. I think this was a goal from like 2 years ago, and just now getting to the end of it, but at least I'm making progress. Alright, we are going with this. So the next book is Donner, to read a book with multiple animals on the cover. So technically it doesn't specify what cover it has to be on, so I may be kind of flubbing this a little bit. So here's a cat, and here is a lion, and they are both on the cover. And I'm going with it, because again, reading books that I own. This also is a queer book. It is a Mel retelling of Romeo and Juliet. It also is one that I will probably pick up during that week of the Queer Lit Readathon. The next prompt is Listen, which is to roll a dice, and between 1 and 6, and then the number that you get is the minimum number of 100 pages that the book needs to be. So I actually got 2, so 200 pages, but I ended up picking a book that is actually 300 pages, or a little over 300, and that is Ascendance of a Bookworm, and this is a book I picked up during my last birthday book haul, where me and my kid went to a whole bunch of different bookstores in LA, and we picked this up from Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese bookstore slash gift shop in downtown LA. and it is not manga. It is like, there's an actual word for it, but I can't remember what it is. But I thought I would give this a shot. My kid loves manga, but I am not quite as big a fan, so I thought this would be a nice little thing for me to try, but I have not read it yet. So yeah, now I'm gonna pick it up. The last prompt is Rudolph, which is read a prompt either for a book before I was born or a book that released in 2023. And I'm going to go with a book that released in 2023. And I'm going to read After the Forest. This is a Luminic Crate book. It's a retelling of Hansel and Gretel and should be very much to do with like witch hunting and such like that. So it's probably a pretty dark book, but it gives me very big winter vibes. So I really wanted to read this in December. So I'm excited that it fit into this prompt. And I tried to get it to fit into the animal prompt, but there's only like bears and bears, but I guess if it would, yeah. It's good. It released in 2023, so we're all good there. There also is one more prompt that you can read, a bonus, like one of these books can fall into a bonus prompt of the, okay. If you use all the bonus prompts, then one of the other books can also use, like, redo a bonus prompt for extra points. And so some of the books that aren't specified for bonus prompts, if I finish all the bonus prompts, I will then read one for that, so that I can get the bonus points also. We will see how that goes. I am interested to see how my reading goes in December, because I just have a hard time thinking it's going to be as intense as it has been in November, because November is the best reading month I think I've ever had, or at least is on point to be. We'll see if it continues. But yeah, so this is what I am reading in December. Do you see any books that you like? Are you participating in any readathons? And can you believe that we are already headed into December, the end of 2023? Wild, right? Stay tuned to my channel. Please subscribe. I have a lot of videos that are going to come out about things I plan to do for next year, which I'm very, very excited about. And so, yeah, please subscribe so you can hear about those when they release. And as always, keep reading, keep writing, and until next time.